All right, welcome to the penultimate episode of this week's Fun Facts with Liam. Overall, this is episode number 80. And seeing as this week, I did a video about, partly about Guy Fawkes Night, Bonfire Night, whichever you want to call it. I flip and flop between them because it's not something I really care about that much. Apart from maybe reading some history stuff and material for the potential book I'm gonna maybe work on sometime. As mentioned in the ruminations episode, if you haven't seen that, I'm gonna reference that and put that in the description. But this is about Guy Fawkes's most famous mate, who was, according to the BBC and /HBO show called Gunpowder, which I saw sort of a bit of through Gogglebox on E4. If people aren't familiar with it, it's basically channel 4 over here, kind of sub channel thing, and so on and so forth, and blah blah blah. Before I get off track a little bit, but basically, and I think I mentioned this. I mentioned this in a if I can actually track it down. One of my earlier fun facts episodes is that Robert Catesby, who was actually played by Kit Harington, aka Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, as everybody in their direwolf knows him. He actually played his own ancestor. Robert Catesby is an ancestor of his, as well as being an ancestor of Charles II, who got around a lot, notoriously. Apart from having 14 kids with his mistress and his wife Rose Leslie. Ygritte, in also in Game of Thrones, his real life wife is actually cousin many times removed through both being descendants of Charles II's many bastards, but that's in reference to that fun facts episode I did quite a while back. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that basically it's sort of what I like to call a sub fact before getting to the main topic of this episode, other than the fact that Robert Catesby was portrayed on film, on TV, by a descendant of his. This is sort of relevant to me in terms of family names. He went by, when he was around Jesuit priests, to avoid suspicion, he went by the name Mr. Roberts, which I thought was really interesting for some reason, but and I don't think he's an ancestor of mine. Well, I don't know. One, because of World War II stuff and blah blah blah. Where there was a lot of infidelity stuff knocking about, and also, I mean, it could be potentially an ancestor of mine, but it's, who knows? After that amount of time, the possibilities are not endless, but multiple. If that makes any sense. But yeah, Catesby went by Roberts, and that's it for this episode. Because there isn't really much else to say about that. Just thought, just a bit of an interesting, well, to me, tidbit of information that I found about him, and I thought it'd be kind of suitable to mention another of the conspirators, seen as I, talked about Guy Fawkes yesterday. So yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. I'll get to editing this. Yeah, sorry so far I haven't been putting background music in the rest of my, if you've seen them already, but I don't know. By the time you get around to see this, it's, future and past and present is relative. Anyway, to some degree, who knows? That's probably not to think about too hard about that. Make yourself sick. But the only one this week, only episode this week I've put background music for is episode 78. And I might put that in the description as well, because I've talked about it already. So yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll get off to uploading this. And I'll see you in the fourth and final episode of this week's Fun Facts with Liam, which of course will be listed as overall as episode 81. And yeah, nothing else.